In the suburbs of Boston, in the verdant Newton district, Diana Morris took a sip of coffee as she gazed out the window at the golden-hued autumn foliage spreading across the landscape. Rows of white-columned and red brick homes typical of New England lined the quiet residential streets. "Make sure you check all the clinical trial data this week," she said. On the other end of the phone, she could hear her assistant hurriedly taking notes. Diana was entering her 10th year as a project manager in the research and development division at Astra Medical, a major biopharmaceutical company, and had become a core figure in the organization. "Understood, Ms. Morris. I'll email you by the end of today." As the call ended, Diana glanced at the clock and sighed softly. She had less than an hour before Sunday brunch at her parents' house. She quickly closed her laptop and took a shower. The reflection in the mirror, her long brown hair and deep green eyes, couldn't hide her fatigue, but she didn't want to worry her family. After a 20-minute drive, Diana arrived at the house where she had spent her childhood. The front door was open, and she could hear classical music and conversation flowing from inside. "Diana, you finally made it," her mother Eleanor looked up from the kitchen counter and peered at her eldest daughter over her glasses. Eleanor maintained a youthful posture, her silver-gray hair perfectly styled. She had taught English literature in high school but was now retired and active in a local literary circle. "Sorry I'm late, Mom. I had some work to."
Do you know some people earn over $10,000 a month just by posting Reddit stories on YouTube? No face, no voice, just a laptop. I do it too, link below if you're curious.
Nothing new there, her father Richard looked up from his newspaper. "Work, work, work, there's more to life than just that, Diana." Richard worked as a consultant for a local construction company a few days a week. Stubborn and conservative, he always enjoyed giving his daughters practical advice. "Dad, times are different now," Diana replied while pouring herself a glass of orange juice. "Especially in the pharmaceutical industry, there's no time to waste." "But I still made time to come, didn't I?" Just then, they heard lively footsteps coming down the stairs. Samantha Morris appeared with tousled hair. "Everyone, listen. My artwork is going to be featured in a special exhibition at the gallery." Her sister Samantha had graduated from a local art school and had bounced between various art-related jobs. Without a stable income, she relied on financial support from her parents while claiming to pursue artistic freedom. "That's wonderful." Richard put his newspaper aside and stood up to embrace his daughter. "As always, our artist is shining bright." Eleanor smiled happily. "I'm so proud of you, Samantha. You're becoming famous in this town." Diana smiled quietly and congratulated her sister. She was truly happy for her sister's success, but she couldn't deny the slight twinge she felt in her chest. "And you, Diana? How's work?" Eleanor asked perfunctorily. "I was appointed leader of a new anti-cancer drug project last month. It's our biggest project in 10 years. Well, Richard said while scanning through the brochure for Samantha's exhibition. "Just don't work yourself sick." The conversation quickly returned to Samantha's artistic endeavors. Throughout brunch, the parents eagerly questioned Samantha about her latest works and praised her creative vision. The topic of Diana's promotion passed by quickly, as if it were a routine occurrence. "Samantha has real talent," Eleanor said while clearing the table. "She's always been special since she was young. Diana, you've always been steady and responsible, but Samantha has the gift of creativity." Diana nodded silently. This wasn't a new conversation. When she had aspired to pursue medicine, her parents had urged her to choose something more realistic, like nursing or teaching. When she won a scholarship and graduated from college while working nights at a cafe, her parents merely said, "That must have been hard." Meanwhile, when Samantha wanted to attend art school, her parents covered the entire tuition without hesitation. When Samantha wanted to go on an artistic tour to Paris, Richard generously provided the travel expenses, saying, "Investment is necessary to nurture talent." "By the way, Dad, how's your car doing?" Diana asked while sipping coffee in the living room. Richard frowned. "Terrible. I had it repaired again last week, but they say it's at its limit. I need to look for a new one, but with the way things are these days, car prices have gone up too. We can't exactly pick up guests for my exhibition in an old car, can we?" Samantha said. "Dad, once my artwork starts selling, I'll buy you a car first thing." "Don't worry, I'll figure something out," Richard gently patted his daughter's head. Diana watched this exchange and smiled quietly, as if she had made some decision. She had just received a large bonus last month. Combined with her savings, she should be able to present her parents with a new car. It wouldn't just be a practical gift but a testament of her love for her family. "They do care about me too," Diana reassured herself. "They just show it differently." Maybe this gift would prove that she was special to her family as well. As she was leaving, Diana hugged her parents and Samantha, saying, "I might have something special next time." The family looked intrigued, but Diana said nothing more, just smiling as she got into her car. For the next 3 weeks, Diana stayed late at the office almost every night. The launch of the new project was busier than she had imagined and was draining her energy, but the plan she had painted in her mind kept her motivated. Diana, working overtime again, her colleague Jennifer poked her head into her office. "You're looking pale lately." "I'm fine, just a little longer," Diana smiled. "I'm planning something special." On Saturday morning, Diana was at a large dealership in the Boston suburbs, finalizing the paperwork with the salesman, Mark. "Excellent choice, Ms. Morris," Mark said as he reviewed the documents. "The Forester crossover SUV is especially comfortable for older drivers and has top safety ratings." Diana looked at the catalog. A silver-gray body with leather interior, the latest navigation system, and numerous safety features considering her parents' age. The price would take up most of her savings, but imagining her parents' happy faces made the sacrifice worth it. "It's a gift from my parents," she smiled. "They've done so much for me over the years." "You're a wonderful daughter," Mark remarked with admiration. "Your parents will surely be delighted." The following Sunday, Diana tied a large red ribbon to the hood of the car and drove to her parents' house. She could feel her heart pounding in her chest as she parked in the driveway. Samantha was the first to peek out the window, then called loudly for their parents. "Dad! Mom! Come quickly. Diana's brought something." When Richard and Eleanor rushed to the entrance, a gleaming new car was parked before them. Diana got out of the car and said, holding the keys in her hand, "It's for you. I heard Dad's car was at the end of its life." After a moment of silence, her parents and Samantha let out cries of surprise. "Could this be a present for us?" Eleanor asked with an expression of disbelief. "Yes," Diana answered, slightly embarrassed. "I hope you like it." Richard slowly walked around the car, gently stroking the body with his hand. "Such a luxury, how did you manage?" "My savings and recent bonus," Diana smiled. "Don't worry, I'm fine." Samantha had already jumped into the car and was sitting in the seat, exclaiming excitedly, "I can't believe it. Is this really ours?" "Yes, for the whole family," Diana answered. "It has especially good safety features, so Mom and Dad can drive with peace of mind." Eleanor embraced Diana. "Thank you, Diana. This is truly an unexpected gift." The rest of the day was spent explaining the car's features and taking drives around the neighborhood. The entire family expressed gratitude for Diana's generosity, and she enjoyed the satisfaction of being at the center of her family's attention for once. "You truly are a wonderful daughter," Eleanor said during dinner. "We're so fortunate." "Indeed," Richard agreed. "We've always been proud of you." Diana smiled, thinking to herself, "This is what I've been looking for." However, that sense of happiness didn't last long. The first sign came 2 weeks later. When Diana visited her parents on the weekend, they had just returned from brunch with friends from the neighborhood. The Johnsons were full of praise for the new car, Eleanor said happily. Everyone was so envious. That's wonderful, Diana answered with a smile. How's the ride? Excellent, Richard said. We're truly fortunate to have such a magnificent car. Diana felt slightly uncomfortable. There was no mention in her parents' words of the fact that she had given them the car. But she thought it was probably just a matter of phrasing. About a month later, Diana accidentally ran into her mother's friend, Barbara Clark, in the supermarket parking lot. Diana, it's been a while. Barbara called out as soon as she spotted her. Your parents got themselves a lovely new car. They seem very satisfied. Yes, I'm glad they like it, Diana smiled. Eleanor was saying how years of saving finally paid off, Barbara continued. She said it's perfect for their retirement enjoyment. Diana maintained her smile, but inwardly her sense of discomfort grew. Were her parents telling their friends that they had purchased the car themselves? That suspicion turned into certainty at the next family gathering. When several of Samantha's friends were visiting, she picked up the car keys and said, "Let's go into town in our new car." Nice car, one friend said. How did you afford it? We finally got the car we wanted, Samantha said proudly. Doesn't a family deserve this kind of luxury? There was no mention of her sister's contribution. Diana sat in the living room, listening to the conversation. Shock and disappointment quietly spread within her. A month later, Diana visited her parents' house for the first time in several weeks. She had deliberately kept her distance, needing time to sort out her feelings. How have you been? Eleanor embraced her daughter. I was worried since we haven't seen you lately. Work has been busy, Diana said, half truthfully. I'm a bit tired. During dinner, Samantha enthusiastically talked about her new art project, and her parents listened attentively. When the topic shifted to the car, Richard began speaking about our new car. Every time the word car was repeated, Diana felt a tightening in her chest. Speaking of which, Diana interrupted the conversation. A college friend is coming to town next weekend. Could I borrow the car? It would be more convenient than using taxis. A moment of silence fell around the table. Well, of course, Eleanor said slowly. But drive carefully. I won't complain since it was your choice of car, but it's really difficult to handle. Diana couldn't hide her surprise. My choice of car? Yes, the model you chose, right? Richard continued. The steering is heavy, a bit hard for us older folks. Diana nodded silently. Her heart was full of pain. For the rest of the day, she hardly spoke. As she was leaving, she gazed at the car parked in the driveway visible from the window. Its silver-gray body no longer seemed a symbol of her kindness but a monument to ingratitude. Diana's cell phone rang on Sunday morning. She was immersed in reviewing experimental data and initially intended to ignore it, but her boss's name was displayed on the screen. Diana, I'm sorry, but executives from the Chicago branch are coming tomorrow, Dr. Harrison, the department head, said hurriedly on the phone. They want to see the progress of your project directly. Could you give a presentation in the conference room at 9 a.m. tomorrow? Diana took a deep breath. I understand. I'll prepare. After hanging up, she checked her calendar. Important clinical trial data was scheduled to arrive tomorrow morning. She needed to get to the office early to review it before preparing for the presentation. Moreover, her car had been in the repair shop since last week. This is a problem, Diana murmured. She couldn't rely on taxis at this timing. Public transportation wasn't frequent early in the morning either. She reluctantly decided to call her parents' house. Hello, Mom. Diana. How unusual to call on a Sunday, Eleanor's voice had a hint of surprise. I actually have a very important meeting tomorrow, Diana explained the situation. My car is being repaired. If it's not too much trouble, could I borrow the car just for tomorrow morning? On the other end of the phone, there seemed to be some hesitation from Eleanor. I see, hold on, let me ask your father. Through the receiver, Diana could hear her parents discussing something in low voices. When Eleanor returned, her voice was slightly stiffer than usual. Can you come over today? I think we should discuss this. I'll come right now, Diana answered, feeling an ominous premonition. An hour later, Diana was standing at the entrance to her parents' house. As she opened the door, she could hear Samantha's voice from the living room. She was sitting on the sofa with her parents. All three had expressions as if they were holding some serious family meeting. Hello, Diana entered the room and greeted them with slight tension. Sit down, Richard indicated with his hand. His tone suggested Diana had done something wrong. Diana sat in the armchair and looked at each of their faces in turn. Is something wrong? Since you called about the car, Eleanor began, we had a little discussion among ourselves. About that, I only need it for tomorrow, Diana quickly explained. I have an important meeting and need to get to the office early in the morning. My car is being repaired. We understand, Eleanor interrupted. But if we're going to lend and borrow the car, we should establish proper rules. Diana frowned. Rules? Yes, Richard opened his mouth. The maintenance costs for the car are surprisingly high. Gasoline, insurance, and we have to consider the depreciation as well. Diana was momentarily at a loss for words. But I bought that car. That may be so, Eleanor sighed. But if you're going to use it, please pay $1,000 each time. The fuel efficiency is poor too. Shock hit Diana like a wave. $1,000. You're joking, right? Samantha snorted. Doesn't it suit us better than you? It's our car now anyway. Diana stared at her sister. Samantha's face had the smug expression she'd often seen since childhood, the look she had when she received her parents' favor and teased her sister. Dad. Mom. Diana shifted her gaze to her parents. I bought the car for you. So the family could use it. And now you're saying I have to pay $1,000 when I want to use it. It's rude to attach conditions to a gift, Richard frowned. You gave us the car as a present, didn't you? Of course, but once you've given a present, it's no longer yours, Eleanor said with a stern expression. It's our possession. Diana silently looked around at her family's faces. Her heart was filled with sadness and anger. The many small inequities that had accumulated since childhood now surged into her heart all at once. Samantha, who was always treated gently, and herself, who was taken for granted. Her success was expected, while Samantha's small progress was celebrated grandly. And now, even the car that was a testament to her love had become a weapon against her. $1,000. Are you taking it or not? Eleanor interrupted. Diana took a deep breath. Something changed inside her. The sadness she had felt about the unfairness transformed into a quiet determination. For a moment, a light of resolve shone in her eyes. All right. I'll pay properly, Diana nodded quietly. Richard nodded with satisfaction. Good decision. Family should respect each other. Indeed, Diana said as she stood up. Her voice was calm, but there was a new strength in it. I'll come to pick it up at 7 a.m. tomorrow. I'll have the $1,000 ready. Make sure you return the keys properly, Samantha added. I have plans to go shopping with friends tomorrow evening. Diana smiled. There was a strange confidence in that smile. Of course, I promise. Diana quietly left the house. The sound of the front door closing seemed to announce the end of a chapter. Once in her car, she exhaled deeply. She took out her smartphone and scrolled through her contact list. The name Mike appeared on the screen. Diana dialed without hesitation. Mike? It's Diana, her voice was calm. I need your help. What's wrong? On the other end of the phone, Mike, a friend from college days and an auto mechanic, asked with concern. I need to consult with you about a car, Diana said quietly. Do you have time tomorrow night? Of course, Mike answered. Did something happen? I'll explain, Diana said. I want to plan a little surprise. She hung up and gazed at her parents' house reflected in the rearview mirror. The house where she was born and raised. A place filled with memories of love and frustration. Diana started the engine. The next morning, Diana visited her parents' house at 7 a.m. as promised. Eleanor opened the door with a sleepy face and silently handed over the car keys. Thank you, Diana smiled and handed her mother a check for $1,000. I'll return it this evening. Eleanor accepted the check, looking somewhat confused. Perhaps she hadn't expected Diana to actually pay. Drive carefully, she said. Samantha is using it tonight, so don't damage it. Diana nodded and got into the car. Before starting the engine, she took out her smartphone and launched an unfamiliar app. The screen displayed footage from the car's dashboard camera, installed by Mike the night before. Start recording, Diana whispered. The meeting at the company was a great success. The executives from Chicago were impressed with her presentation and immediately approved additional funding for the project. Diana's boss patted her shoulder and said she was a future board member candidate. At 6 p.m., she returned the car to her parents' house as promised. How was the meeting? Richard asked at the doorstep. It went well, Diana answered concisely. She handed the keys to her father and got into her own car without saying anything more. She had just picked it up from the repair shop. I'll come again tomorrow, she said. Richard nodded, looking slightly confused. The next morning, when Diana woke up, there were several missed calls on her cell phone. All from her parents. She took a deep breath before calling back. Diana. Eleanor's voice was distressed. The car tire is flat. When Samantha tried to go shopping with her friends, the car wouldn't move. I see, that's terrible, Diana replied calmly. Did you call roadside service? Of course. But why would this happen? It's a new car. These things happen sometimes, Diana said. Were they able to fix it? Yes, but the mechanic said it's just a flat tire, but they can't pinpoint the cause. I see, Diana responded briefly. Let me know if anything else happens. A week later, on Sunday morning, Diana received another call from her parents. This time, the same tire had gone flat again when Samantha was about to leave for brunch with her friends. In the same spot. Samantha's angry voice came through the phone. I was late meeting my friends and felt so embarrassed. That's unfortunate, Diana feigned composure. Why don't you replace the tire with a new one? Dad says he'll take it to the shop tomorrow, Samantha said discontentedly. The next call came 2 days later. This time it was from her father, Richard. I'm worried about the gasoline, his voice was confused. I filled the tank yesterday, but when I checked this morning, it was only half full. It seems to be leaking somewhere. I see, Diana said. Have you had a mechanic look at it? I'm planning to go this afternoon, Richard said. I can't believe a new car is having these continuous problems. A few hours later, Richard called again. The mechanic says they can't find any specific problem, he reported, looking confused. They say the fuel system is working perfectly. How strange, Diana said. Let's see how it goes. After hanging up, Diana took out her smartphone and sent a message to Mike. Everything's going according to plan. Mike replied immediately. Move to stage 2. Diana smiled. Yes, next weekend. That weekend, Samantha tried to take the car out for a party with her friends. However, the moment she started the engine, a strange noise occurred, and it quickly stopped. She panicked and called her parents, and the three of them tried various things, but the car wouldn't move. They had the car towed to another repair shop, but the result was the same. "We can't find any specific problem," the mechanic said. "It might be a temporary electrical system glitch." Over the course of 2 weeks, the car began to exhibit even stranger symptoms. The air conditioning suddenly changing from cold to hot air, windows moving up and down on their own, the car stereo unexpectedly becoming extremely loud, all of which were unexplainable to the mechanics. Finally, Eleanor lost her patience. "This car is cursed." She called Diana in indignation. "There's some trouble every week." "No way," Diana said. "Modern cars shouldn't have such issues." "But it's true," Eleanor said in a voice on the verge of tears. "Samantha has been embarrassed in front of her friends with flat tires multiple times, and Dad has to go to the gas station every week." After hanging up, Diana looked at her calendar. A month had passed. She sent a message to Mike. "Should we go to the final stage?" "Roger," Mike replied. "I'll set it up this weekend." That weekend, when Diana visited her parents' house, she was confronted with a family with expressions more tired than she had ever seen. In the living room, the three of them sat looking disgruntled. "What's wrong?" Diana asked. "Are you feeling unwell?" "This car is at its limit," Eleanor said. "It gets a flat tire every week, and the fuel costs are too high." Richard nodded. "No mechanic can figure out the cause. We don't want this car anymore." Samantha added, "All my friends call this car the problem car." After quietly listening to their complaints, Diana calmly asked, "So, what do you want to do?" The three exchanged glances, then, as if rehearsed, said in unison, "Give it back to you." "To me?" Diana pretended to be surprised. "But it was a gift, wasn't it?" "Even so," Richard reluctantly said, "it seems the car you chose doesn't suit us." "That's right," Samantha agreed. "I'd rather have an old car than be embarrassed in front of my friends." Diana pretended to think for a while, then slowly said, "I understand. I'll take the car back." The next day, she brought Mike to her parents' house. Mike opened the hood of the car and began checking something. The whole family stood around watching him. After 10 minutes, Mike stood up with satisfaction and started the engine. The car ran perfectly. "This should fix the problems," Mike said with a serious expression. "I've resolved the tire issues and the fuel efficiency problems." The family looked surprised. "How?" Eleanor asked. "Other mechanics couldn't find anything." "I just know a skilled mechanic," Diana smiled as she received the keys. She drove away without revealing the truth to her family. 3 months passed. Diana was drinking coffee while looking out the living room window. Her new home was in a quiet area close to the company, and a beautiful park was visible from her spacious balcony. "It's strange that there hasn't been a single problem since then," Mike smiled as he sat next to her. Diana smiled back. "Thanks to you. The special sensors attached to the tires, the filter in the fuel intake, all things the family couldn't see." Mike nodded with satisfaction. "The key was linking it to the car navigation's GPS. I programmed it to activate whenever they drove near the places they usually go." "It was a perfect plan," Diana said. There was no sign of regret in her expression. "The car still runs beautifully, and it's convenient for my research team's commute." The phone rang, and Diana was slightly surprised to see the display. It was from Samantha. Calls from her sister were rare. "Hello? Dee?" Samantha's voice sounded softer than before. "I have something I want to ask." "What is it?" "That car, was there really nothing wrong with it?" Diana was silent for a moment. That's right, she answered briefly. I see. There was hesitation in Samantha's voice. Actually, I finally got a job. Assistant manager at a local gallery. The pay isn't great, but it's stable. Congratulations, Diana said sincerely. She didn't resent her sister. She couldn't blame Samantha for the gap between the sisters created by their parents' attitudes. A few weeks later, there was also a call from Richard. How have you been lately? His voice was unnaturally cheerful. Is the new project going well? Yes, it's going smoothly, Diana answered. Why so sudden? Well. Richard paused for a moment before continuing. I was thinking about that car. We didn't show much gratitude. Something stirred in Diana's heart. It was the first time she had heard such a frank, apologetic-like statement from her father. 2 months after the car trouble, Diana invited her parents and Samantha to dinner at her new home. When they arrived, Diana greeted them with her prized car. Is there anywhere you'd like to go? After a slightly awkward silence, they went for a drive. As they drove along the coastal road, Richard said from the back seat, Your car is truly wonderful, it's Diana's car. It was a small change, but it meant a lot to Diana. She smiled. A true family is connected not by the ownership of things, but by respect and gratitude for each other. The car fell silent. The weight of those words quietly spread among the four of them. On the way back, Eleanor placed her hand on Diana's shoulder. You've become a wonderful woman. Smarter and stronger than us, we should have been more proud of you. Diana said nothing, but tears glistened in her eyes. Her little surprise had not just been revenge but a step toward correcting the family's distortions that had accumulated over many years. It wasn't perfect yet, but it was the beginning of healing. As she drove, she thought to herself that sometimes, to love others, you must first demonstrate respect for yourself.